Hi, thanks for joining me on the Listen Up Girl podcast, your LGBTQ daily news podcast. I'm Zach Randall-Friedman. Today is Saturday, June 27th, day 27 of Pride Month. If you're waking up this morning, I need you to know today is one of the biggest days of the year for our community. San Francisco Pride March is kicking off right now. The New York City Dyke March is tonight, and Pride events are lighting up cities from Minneapolis to Monterey. Before we get to the joy, because there is plenty of joy today, we have to talk about the courts, the federal judge, and the ruling that trans families and their doctors have them breathing a little easier this weekend. So let's start with the court win you need to know about. On Wednesday, a federal judge in New York handed down a ruling that stopped the Trump administration in its tracks, and the legal community is still talking about it. Here's what happened. The Department of Justice issued a grand jury subpoena to NYU Lagoon Hospital demanding the medical records of every patient who received treatment for gender dysphoria while under the age of 18, going all the way back to January 2020. 6 years of sensitive records, diagnosis, consent forms, personal information, the whole thing. The subpoena came from a grand jury in Fort Worth, Texas, a jurisdiction specifically chosen, legal experts say, to avoid the courts that have already rejected similar demands. Because here's the thing. The administration has already been blocked by at least 8 federal district courts when it tried to pull this same stunt using administrative subpoenas. So they switched tactics. Same demand, different wrapper. U.S. District Court, Catherine Polk Failla, an Obama appointee, blocking the DOJ completely, calling the government's behavior exactly what it is. She said the subpoenas are targeting transgender youth, quote, shocks the conscience. She found that prosecutors appear to be leaving open the possibility of criminally pursuing the patients themselves or their parents. The ACLU, the New York Civil Liberties Union, Lambda Legal, brought the case on behalf of 3 trans youth families and 2 trans youth adults who were minors when they started care. This isn't over, but right now, on the eve of the biggest Pride weekend of the year, trans kids in New York have a little more protection than they did last week, and that's what matters. Next, we have Paris Pride canceled, and it's not because of politics. Here's a story that got international community talking, and for once, it's not about a government attack. Paris Pride, the annual LGBTQ march, organized by Enter LGBTQ, was scheduled for today, June 27th. Tens of thousands of people were expected in the streets, but the parade has been canceled. The reason? A dangerous heat wave is sweeping across France. The march was officially scraped out of safety concerns for participants, and organizers are now considering rescheduling it to September of 2026. This is the first time in recent memory that Paris Pride has been canceled due to weather. Now, the march is off, but the spirit is not. Party and community events across the city are still going on. Pride Week in Paris has been running for 2 weeks, and organizers have made clear this is a pause, not a surrender. Still, it's a reminder that something we don't talk about enough. Climate change is changing our celebrations too. And for the community that already has to fight for the right to show up publicly, losing a parade to extreme heat is a gut punch. We're thinking of our friends in Paris today and across Europe because that heat wave is all across Europe. I have friends in Europe this week, and they are miserable. Next, San Francisco Pride is here, and the theme is resistance in action. So if you're in the Bay Area right now, get outside because San Francisco's Pride has officially arrived. The 56th annual San Francisco Pride celebration gets underway today at Civic Center, with the festival running both Saturday and Sunday from noon to 6. It's free, all of it. And the theme this year is resistance to action. It's not just a slogan. San Francisco Pride has partnered with Indivisible South San Francisco, Dykes on Bites, and organizers of the People's March to host a trans alley rally this morning that started at a plaza and marched straight into the Civic Center. Tonight, the San Francisco Dyke March steps off from Dolores Park, one of the most beloved grassroots LGBTQ plus traditions in the country, and always electric. Executive Director Suzanne Ford put it simply before the weekend, San Francisco Pride is going to happen. Come to Civic Center for the street fair, the celebration, and all the music. It's all free. That's the spirit. That's what community looks like. Now we go to New York City Dyke March tonight, plus the biggest Pride run of the year. So across the country In New York, today is the full-on Pride Saturday. This morning, more than 8,000 runners laced up for the 45th annual Frontrunners New York City LGBTQ Pride Run in Central Park, one of the most joyful and iconic events in the entire Pride calendar. The Pride Run has been happening since 1982, and this year's beneficiary is Lambda Legal, the organization that, as we just heard, is actively fighting in court to protect trans youth medical privacy. It's a good timing. And tonight, Bryant Park, that's where the New York City Dyke March kicks off at 5 p.m. The Dyke March is a grassroots, political, joyful, and completely separate from the official heritage of Pride events. It's one of the most community-driven marches in the city, and tonight it sets the stage for what is coming tomorrow. Because tomorrow, Sunday, June 28th, is New York City Pride March. 1 million people expected on the streets of Manhattan. WABC broadcasting live starting at noon. The march theme is for all of us. The route goes from 26th Street and 5th Avenue through Greenwich Village, past the Stonewall National, and ends near 15th and 7th. Tomorrow is the day, but today is just a warm-up act, and it's already gorgeous. Our next story is state candidate who actually showed up for trans kids. So not every headline this week has been about attacks. Some of them are about people doing the right thing. Democratic Senate nominee Graham Platner appeared at a Pride event this week and said out loud what a lot of politicians are too scared to say. He pledged to protect trans kids directly and without hedging, and called out politicians who haven't done this so as, quote, cowards and bigots. His line that's been making the rounds, when you stand up for one group's rights, you actually are standing up for everybody's rights. He's running in a race that matters, and moments like these, a candidate at a Pride event speaking plainly about trans kids on a Pride weekend, are exactly what the community needs to be seeing more of. And then we have Twin Cities Pride is now open, one of the Midwest's biggest celebrations. Pride is coast to coast, and this weekend in Minneapolis, Twin Cities Pride has officially opened its free festival at Loring Park, and it runs today and tomorrow. This is one of the largest Pride celebrations in the Midwest, bringing together the full community for music, vendors, and gathering in the heart of the city. My friend Philip Anthony, that is an AM talk show host, will be there with all his other friends at the radio station, so be sure to check him out if you're there. There is also significant because Minnesota has become one of the front lines in the fight over LGBTQ rights. The state has pushed back hard against federal attacks on trans students and families. Having a massive community celebration in the streets right now sends a message. Minnesota shows up. And a quick headline before we go. A few things on my radar. The Trump administration's big budget package, which triples ICE budget and earmarks $140 billion for immigration enforcement, continues to draw backlash from the LGBTQ plus and immigration rights group. More on what that stands in an upcoming episode. And World Pride Amsterdam is coming August 1st through the 9th. If you're planning ahead, the Canal Parade is August 1st, and organizers expect over 1 million international visitors. So that's your Saturday Pride update, day 27 of Pride Month. Tomorrow, June 27th, is the day. New York City Pride March, 1 million for all of us. If you are marching tomorrow, you better scream a little extra because you're screaming for all of us who can't be there. If you're listening to Listen Up Girl this month, thank you. Subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and share this show with someone in your life who needs to know what's happening in our community. I'll see you tomorrow on day 28, the last day of Pride Month, and we are going to go out with a bang. I'm Zach Randalls, and Listen Up Girl. We'll be back tomorrow with more news. Thanks.